Yes, thank you. Any opposed? Here, put your hand down. The motion passes. Thank you. All right. I think the alarm is good. All right. So thank you everybody for coming. We're gonna just do a couple of reports from, various, committees and commissions this year who have done tremendous work in our community, and just hear an update on how they're doing and, some highlights from this year. So hopefully each of you, have one of the purple annual meeting books in front of you. You can see our agenda on page 3 or 4. I don't know what page it is. So we're gonna first start with Joyce Lawson speaking about community life.
Thank you, Barbara. So, as Barb said, everybody has a folder in front of them. So the Commission for Community Life is on page 27. So, you can have a bit of time to read that, but I just wanted to highlight that for this past year, we've really spent a lot of time both on community events. It's just like today, we've had lots of potlucks, lunches, TGIFs, just lots of opportunity for people to come together, get to know one another better, deepen our friendships, which we know is super important for people within the congregation. And we look forward to having, more of them this year, but you'll be able to read more in here. And one of the other big things that we've been working on is really trying to get our message outside to the outside community. I think we all recognize how important it is for us to be able to have new folks know about us, know about our message, our inclusivity in this time of kind of turbulence in the world. And so we want to get it out there so we can have more people come and know about our radical welcome. And so to that end, we have been doing a lot of work on the social media side, trying to get our presentation out there, getting our message. Todd is wonderful about being so active also in the community. That gives us lots of information to be able to share as well, that speaks to what we're doing. And so I know we talked about it at the end of, or at the beginning of this church year, but I again ask for anybody who is in any way involved on social media to like us, follow us, and comment on our posts, because it's those darn algorithms that run everything. And so the more we can have of people being active, therefore the greater opportunity we have to get things out. So one of the big things coming up obviously is our Pride event in the next 2 weeks. And so we've really been working hard to get that message out about that, and we see that that's a huge opportunity to bring people onto our campus to get to know about us more. And I really encourage everybody to go out to all of your communities and let people know what we've got going on. And we have a webpage, a dedicated webpage on our website that is just about Valley Pride. So you can direct people to there, find the link, and share that. But really as we talk about community and the radical welcome that we have here at DCC, I really hope that everybody sitting here will show up for our event for the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and that we, as this being our community, that we act like folks are coming into our home. How do we welcome people? How do we show people around? How do we talk about who we are, what we do? And so I know sometimes it can be uncomfortable if you're not super used to doing that kind of thing, but think about it as somebody coming into your house. How do you welcome them? How do you want them to know who we are or what we do? And so really, I ask for everybody to be intentional, and if whoever's here, and we'll talk about this some more too for the people who have already signed up, but to think about this as a time that we are reaching out to others, and not that we're all going to kind of hang together and just be like, oh, I'm uncomfortable and I just want to be with my buddies. but this is our opportunity to reach out and to talk to way more people. So this is really, as you read in this, this upcoming year, we are having a change in the Community Life Commission, in that we are reverting back to two commissions, one being focused on welcoming new people and more of a marketing approach and getting our message out there. And then that's going to be led by me. And then we're splitting out the kind of more social aspect of events that are going to be happening, how do we gather the community together. So that part of the commission does not have a leader right now, and so it's going to be group led. And I'm really appreciative of Kira stepping up to continue with the TGIFs. And we'll just look for everybody to take a lead in some of the different events and being able to do those. So lots going on again. You'll read all about it here, but just wanted to let you know that we do have a bit of a split change up next year, and we hope that that will be super successful for us too. And just please share DCC with everybody that you know and encourage and welcome people to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Joyce. Our next report is from Shai Stickler. She's going to talk to us a little bit about Dayspring and some of the wonderful things that are happening there. So thank you, Shai.
Thanks, Barb. Most things I'm about to share, you can also find in the update in the annual report at your table. Dayspring Preschool continues to thrive under the leadership of Maria Arroyo, the director there. Maria spoke at this meeting last year. You got to hear from her. Her extensive experience in early childhood education and many, many years in the field have been transformational for Dayspring staff and families. Just a reminder, Maria shared this last year. She holds an AA degree, a BA degree, and a master's degree in early childhood education. So you can't get much more qualified to lead a preschool program than that. Over the last 12 months, the preschool has experienced its highest enrollments in its history and the highest rates of parent participation. Last year at this time, we let you know that we were starting the launch of the Spanish immersion program. That's a program spearheaded by Maria because the school district has made the age for transitional kindergarten lower and lower. So it can affect the enrollment of the preschool because parents would choose to send their kids to the public TK program rather than have to pay for a program. So Maria's been really great about staying in front of those trends, coming up with ways to differentiate the program at Dayspring so that it can continue to stay fully enrolled. Spanish immersion program was one of her. Oh, please.
I'm hurry. I'm gonna find a good battery sooner or later.
Did I just talk loud?
Just talk loud if it isn't working. It sounds like it's still working. Just hold it
Would
up.
you rather me talk loud or go in and out?
In and out.
Okay, we'll go in and out. So the Spanish immersion program was Maria's brainchild to get in front of that trend. It filled up almost immediately. The parent response for wanting their children enrolled in a Spanish immersion preschool program was phenomenal. Maria fully, took care of the curriculum, the classroom supply, and it's been a super successful program. About halfway through the academic year, she did a survey out to the families. All the responses came back very positive. If anything, they wanted more. They wanted their kids to be taught more days a week, more hours of the day in Spanish, and she's working to increase that. One of the headwinds facing the school for the upcoming academic year is gonna be that the school district again lowered the age. This is the final step in lowering the age for kids to go into the TK program. One of the things we're planning to launch is a transitional kindergarten program at the preschool. So it'll have curriculum that matches what's given in the school district. And why that's appealing is that it provides a full day option for working parents. So the transitional kindergarten program in the school district, would be only about 3 hours, and then you have to find childcare for your child after that if you're a working parent. This provides a full day option with matching curriculum. So we're excited about getting that going. The response again has been really positive for families that we could have lost are now choosing to re-enroll and stay. So that's really positive. And just to share a couple of stats in case you don't know, Day Spring Preschool at the end of the academic year, we had 81 students. So that's full enrollment. There's 4 classrooms. The preschool employs 3 administrators, which are a director, an assistant director, and an admin assistant. And there are 12 teachers. 4 of those teachers have their bachelor's degree and 2 have master's degrees in various subjects. So very highly qualified staff. And the future looks great for Day Spring. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Shai. All right, we have an update from our worship commission, and we have worship member Wilson Jackson to give us a program overview.
All right, how many people have even heard of the worship commission? It's been around for hundreds of years. Or probably as long as the church has been around. The worship commission here at DCC acts as an internal consultant and support for the ministries and the ministers and the music director, such as discussing themes for an upcoming liturgical season, helping to ensure that we have the licenses to print the hymns and other music that's found in the bulletins, ensuring that the sanctuary is appropriately decorated for an upcoming liturgical season, etc. As you also well know, it also worked with teams of many different teams of sound technicians to ensure that we can hear in the sanctuary and hear and on Zoom, so we know what's going on minute by minute. Tech ministers who tackle the weekly hurdles of making sure that the folks who Zoom in don't miss out on anything. Choral choir members to inspire us with their singing, as they did today. Bell choir members to inspire us with their ringing. MAS teams to staff them in any role required in any service. Buildings and grounds folks to ensure that the sanctuary is ready to go. And countless others to support each worship service. Now, the commission feels fortunate to have Pastor Todd, Pastor Lauren, John Kenneth Bailey on staff. Their expertise to fulfill the major tasks of creating and implementing services year round. It takes a lot of time to plan and review resources such as music. It takes a lot of time to practice, as many of you know, and prepare for each worship service. The worship magic happens. You probably can sense this and have sensed it over the years with the close collaboration of Pastor Todd and John Campbell Bailey. Providing for the integration, even intertwining of the music and the message that we have not seen at this level at this church for in recent years. We've been almost there in a lot of cases, but the level of collaboration is as strong as it's ever been, and you can sense that how things are how the message and the music are intertwined together. The worship commission only meets as a team 4 times a year. We're looking for new members to share ideas and ways to freshen up our traditions. If you're interested and even passionate about being part of this decision-making team, come to our quarterly meetings. There are a multitude of decisions to be made at each meeting, and we welcome your participation and feedback. Help us shape the future of worship.
Thank you so much, Wilson. Okay, and our final update report is coming from Doug Leach, who is our outreach commissioner. Doug.
Thank you. Being God's love in the world. Now that's part of DCC's motto. And that's what I want to talk about for the next couple of minutes. I want to give an overview of DCC's outreach ministries, and I mean that more broadly than just the opportunities that the Outreach Commission provides for us, which you can read about in the annual report. The youth group, our reconstituted journeys of faith mission, our pastors, our legitimate action team, and others help us to do God's work in the world. Let me break it down into two main categories: annually recurring projects and newer ideas. So every year, since most of us can remember, you have helped children in formerly homeless and at-risk families get ready to go back to school by providing a new backpack filled with school supplies. The 2025 version of this is just around the corner. As Christmas approaches, we adopt 2 or 3 families from which Hope Solutions provides to us with Christmas wish lists for each family member. And we do the Christmas shopping for those families that can't afford to. Our tradition at Easter is to provide Easter baskets filled with all the fillings for a family Easter dinner. These 3 well-supported annually recurring projects provide a seasonal rhythm to our outreach. But on top of this well-established rhythm, we find ways to try something new and then work to make it better. Just last month, we had 2 firsts. With Interfaith San Ramon Valley, we co-hosted the Interfaith Earth Fest at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church in Danville. And DCC had a pride table at the Contra Costa County Fair in Antioch. And then just yesterday, a pride table at the Concord Pride. Our hosting of Valley Pride last June celebrated the gifts of our LGBTQIA+ members, friends, and neighbors. Celebrated what they bring to our communities. And the second annual Valley Pride is just 2 weeks away, with several new co-sponsors, including the town of Danville. We have established a sponsoring relationship with Minister Alana Bowles, Visions of Hope Outreach Ministry in Richmond, that will offer opportunities for DCC and Visions of Hope to be in community with each other. This relationship reminds me of our sister parish relationship with the San Antonio community in Guatemala, where for several years we have been in solidarity with this community through reciprocal visits and sharing of hospitality and prayer. Maybe someone here can tell me how many years we have been in sister parish. I didn't look that up. 12 years. DCC's observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service has evolved in recent years from a service project based right here at DCC to this year's Interfaith Commemoration Service, followed by same-day service projects in Richmond with the Watershed Project and in San Pablo with Hope Solutions. Speaking of Hope Solutions, the DCC hosted Mardi Gras has become a successful and fun fundraiser for them. Our youth groups have paid several visits to San Francisco to help with Glide Memorial Church's street outreach, passing out blessing bags from DCC. I mentioned earlier our Journeys of Faith commission. The Death and Dying series was a good example of how these kinds of events can be outreach to our community. Our financial offerings are also an important part of our outreach. And in recent years, we have had a reasonably new annual offering for Indigenous peoples. We've done this for 3 years now, an Indigenous Peoples Heritage offering. And just this year, for the first time, we took an offering for the Justice 100 campaign to support the UCC's Open and Affirming Coalition. So that's kind of a rundown of how the church as a whole does the work that to be God's love in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, the next item on our agenda is our financial updates. So I would like to invite up our treasurer, Steve Bridgman. Nothing but good news, right, Steve?
Nothing but good news. All right, I'm looking at the time. I'm gonna give you guys a choice, whether you want like 15-minute presentation. Or whether you want my, probably 3 or 4 minute presentation. 3 or 4, how did I know you're gonna go that? Okay, in the back of your annual reports, you can find the financial statements. Those of you that astutely look at the financial statements, you might notice there are fewer numbers than usual. Yes, during the year, I try to provide as much information as I can for us making decisions throughout the year. But at year end, we go to a more traditional format of a financial statement. For example, the balance sheet, if you look at the balance sheet in this year's annual report, it basically has one column of numbers. This is where we are as of this date. Throughout the year, when I give you a balance sheet, we have 3 columns of numbers. We have, this is where we are, this is where we were last month, and this is the change from there. Just to hopefully give you a little more information. On the statement of changes, which is the one that's laid out landscape. There's a couple columns missing. Usually there's a column for what happened in the month we just finished. I've left that column out. And there's usually a year-to-date budget column. Well, we're at the end of the year, so that column is kind of redundant to the column that says annual budget. So I left that column out. So you're right. There are fewer columns on these reports than you would normally see. Now, many of you probably normally don't see a financial. If you're a commissioner, you should see one every month. But if you're just a member of the congregation and you come to the congregational meetings, you maybe only see financial reports once a year. So the news here at the bottom line is I have a lot of good news to report. Let's talk about expenses for a second. We've transitioned from a church that had 2 full-time pastors to a church with a pastor and a half. And I think we've successfully completed that transition. Those sorts of transitions give you an opportunity to save some money, and we certainly did save some money this year. That's very good to hear. And yet, when I look at the product we receive every Sunday when we're in worship, and the things that are going on during the week, when we come to church, I don't think we've lost anything. As a matter of fact, we may have gained. We've saved money, but we may have gained in the long run. So I think that is great. If you want some dollars and cents behind it, well, let's just talk dollars. It's not cents. Based on what we budgeted for this year as far as expenses, general fund expenses, we actually saved $42,000, which is great. That is really, really. So yes, we haven't lost anything. Plus, I don't know if you went to the Death and Dying series or if you went to last June's Pride event. we had a lot of people on campus we have never seen before. And we have new members join. I think we're doing something. So that's great news. Okay, now looking at the income side, we really have some unique things going on the income side. I don't know how many of you have heard about the employee retention credit that the church received. You probably all, if you were here during COVID, remember the PPP loans that we got to help us get through COVID. Well, the employee retention credit program is similar to that. The real caveat is, though, it's there to help those that made it through COVID and support them. But any expenses that you claimed for the PPP loans, you could not claim for the employee retention credits. So we had those expenses that we could claim, and we claimed them. We claimed them for 2020 and 2021. This was several years ago, we made that claim. When I first started as treasurer, I got an email that said, okay, keep your eyes open in case you see anything. Nothing showed up. Well, I think it was December, we finally got some checks just for 2020. And we got 3 checks totaling $113,000. This is all based on employee compensation, and of course, Dayspring has the largest payroll. So when all is said and done, Dayspring actually benefited by about $91,000, and the church benefited by $22,000. So that was something that was totally unexpected. And the really good news is there's another year sitting out there that we might get reimbursed. So just keep your fingers crossed on that. Something else I wanted to talk about was building usage. That's kind of a gauge, not a very accurate one, but it's a gauge of how many people are here on campus. We've actually brought in more income from building usage than we expected. We exceeded our budget by $5,000. Great, that's fantastic. Another income item, plate collections. These are people that come to church, they support the church, but they didn't make an official commitment. Plate collections, we exceeded what we budgeted there by nearly $3,000. And then the one that's really flabbergasting for me anyway, is commitments. Last year, we had commitments that we expected to receive of $345,000. In a good year, you expect to really receive about 98% of what you had budgeted. Because people move away, financial circumstances change, things are going to happen. Well, this year, on our $345,000 budget, we actually received $353,000. $8,000 more than we had ever. So when you net this all out, for the income side, just the income side, when you compare what we actually received to what we expected to receive, we received $59,000 more than we expected. So I've given you an expense number, I've given you an income number. When you compare those two, what did we bring in? What did we send out the door? We have a surplus of $102,000. So we did really well this year, really well. Now, we didn't just throw all that money into the general fund and let it disappear and sit there. No, we actually set some of that money aside. As you all know, Pastor Todd is going on sabbatical. We set aside $20,000 to help fund not his salary, but who will come in and replace him and cover for him while he's gone. So we set those funds aside out of that $100,000. Let's see, what else? Oh, there was a plan for a playground out here between the two buildings. playground, the play structure, I don't know what the best term is. I don't know that we've actually ordered it yet because it was on back order or parts not available or something like that. But, the council several years ago actually approved that happening, but nobody ever set any money aside. So this year we set aside $2,000 in general fund monies to help cover the cost of that play structure. Now, it's actually gonna cost more than $2,000, but we have received a donation from a member of the congregation to cover the balance of that cost. So that's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. As part of hiring Pastor Lauren, as part of her call agreement, we agreed to pay her $2,000 for relocation. Because she lives up in Davis right now, and her and Ruben wanted to move closer to the Bay Area. So, we gave her a $2,000 relocation allowance. She hasn't relocated yet, so we haven't given her the money, but we wanted to set it aside for next year, so it's there when she does finally get down to the Bay Area. And what else? Oh, building and grounds. Every year in the budget, we build in $15,000 for long-term maintenance. Well, you probably all heard that we had to replace the water heater in this one. That cost $13,000. So that kind of ate up that money, but Dayspring stepped forward and kicked in half of that cost. So that's great. That frees up some of that money. Typically, we would take the surplus of what we had planned to set aside and what was available, and we would go ahead and set it aside. But sadly, building and grounds actually overspent this year, which is unusual in itself. But there's a really good reason behind it. And it's because of what I mentioned before. We've seen a lot of people on campus that we haven't seen before. And when they're on campus, they're using the water, they're using electricity. There is trash that has to be removed. These costs go up. And this year we had significant increases in our water bill, in our electrical bill, in our trash removal bill. But these are good problems to have. So even though building and grounds overspent because of those sorts of things, we normally would have set $6,000 aside additional for long-term maintenance. Because of the great financial picture this year, we decided to go ahead and set aside that extra $6,000. Council voted on that. So out of the $100,000 that we have set aside for specific purposes, 30,000 is that. So I think we're in good shape going into next year. And if you actually look at your financial statements, one of the very last lines on your financial statements, the income and expense one, is you'll see monies allocated from unrestricted funds to board designated funds, and you'll see that $30,000. And that's what we actually did. We didn't spend it, but we moved it over. It's restricted. It now has a specific purpose, and it's there to be used when we need it. Let's see, what else? I think that's it for the general financial statements. I will just throw in another piece of information since I just recently did the financial statements and created financial statements for the endowment. And those are in the book too. I think that the last 2 pages of your annual report are the endowment financial statements. This is the time of year with endowment where we determine how much money endowment will have to help fund the church in this next year. Based on how endowment did this year, I think we're looking at $18,000 from the church. 2,000 that would be restricted to children and youth, and the other 16,000 would be available for any purpose we feel is worthwhile. So that's new information. I don't even know that the endowment committee knows that yet, but you know it. So I think that's it as far as the financial statements. Any questions, comments? Yes.
Steve, I wanted to thank you very much for all the care and extra time you put in to making sure things like, notices get filed, so we don't have unexpected fines or paying extra and, so anyway, your heart and what you give goes so much deeper than it ever shows when you're standing out there, so I just wanted to do a heartfelt thank you for helping.
I certainly do appreciate that. I just want to let you know, it's not just me, it's the finance committee. We have a financial calendar that we try to keep up to date. We try to look at regularly. And the finance committee helps keep me on task with that, so that we have all these items noted. And, oh, yes, this is coming up. We need to do something about this. We need to file a report. We need to pay a bill. We need to, whatever. So yes, it's not just me, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. Are we going to the budget? You want me to just go on? Okay, I think it's page 55, maybe. Oh, 49. This is the one-page summary of the budget. This, in essence, is the same budget you saw when we made the stewardship presentation. Gosh, was that a month ago? Wow. So yes, this is the same budget you saw. I will say that on the left-hand side, the columns on the left-hand side, that's the year we just finished. So you can see the budget for the year we just finished. You can see the actual expenditures and the actual income numbers. Very summarized, but for the year we just finished. The right-hand columns are the new year, new proposed budget. This budget that you're seeing here, when we made the stewardship presentation, is the 7% ask. In other words, to keep the budget balanced, we had to ask you to increase your commitments by 7% on average, so that you could keep the budget balanced. Just some of the highlights. I'm not going to talk about all the details of the budget. We are giving staff a 5% increase. I mentioned it before, and it's still in this budget. There's $15,000 to be set aside again for long-term maintenance. We're providing funding for the Anti-Racism Justice Ministries Committee team. They've been around for a while, but they've never had a budget. Well, now they actually will have an official budget. A couple of years ago, we changed the bylaws and said, faith journeys are now journeys of faith is inactive. Well, somebody didn't like that because they were very active this last year. We had the Death and Dying series. So they have a budget for this upcoming year. And again, we've changed the bylaws back, so we know they're active again. I don't know if there's any other highlights I need to mention. I think I'll turn it over to Heidi now, and she can talk to you about how we did as far as reaching that 7% goal that we were asking.
I'm just gonna stand in front of that table.
Well, how did we do? If you'll remember when we did the presentation, we had the 7% budget to thrive, and then we had a stretch budget of 16%. And then notice that Steve mentioned we're doing the 7%. So I just quick numbers. This is unusual, me doing numbers instead of you. Wow. So just where did this all come from? Our final numbers, we had 75 member units, so that's like households that committed this year. We did have 10 units that could not make a commitment this year. That gives us an 88% contribution rate, which is huge. It is absolutely huge. Absolutely. We also this year received commitments from those who have not yet become members of our church, which just sort of, well, okay, it made me tear up. I'm just gonna say. That is just speaks to the generosity of those that walk in the door. And to be so grateful for all the things that they have. So now with a little unbudgeted drum roll, I would tell you that for a 7% budget, we needed $363,000. Oh, wait, let me start over. We needed $363,800. Total commitments, so that's everybody came in at 386,398, which gave us a surplus of $22,598. That's awesome. So as we spoke to when we did our stewardship presentation, Kira is our new financial person, head of the team. She'll be the one keeping Steve in place rather than me, so. So with this extra $22,000, finance will sit down early this summer and sort of follow the program that was laid out with that 16% and fund. Those will give you an updated budget, because remember, a budget is a living document. And we'll have that news out to you here in short order. I'll leave that to Kira's schedule and all of that. But I can just, from the stewardship group, Nicole and Barbara's help and Anne Marie, who helped stuff all those envelopes that you received. We thank you, and just a heartfelt thank you.
We actually need to officially approve this budget now.
Yes.
You want to take over, Barb?
No, you can do it.
Okay, okay. So you've seen the budget at the stewardship presentation. It's here today if you look at it. Does anybody have any general questions about the budget? And like Heidi said, this is our starting point. We have extra monies, so we'll be going back in, looking again, and making inputs where everything, so that we can best utilize those additional funds that we have. All right, if there's no questions, then I guess we need to vote on this.
I move that we accept the budget as presented on page 49.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doug. And do we have a second?
Kristen.
Okay, any further discussion on this topic? No? Okay. All those in favor say aye, raise your hand. Okay, any opposed? All right, we have an approved budget for the year. Thank you all.
Wow. That's quite a lot of information that we've heard in the last half hour. I guess what's really exciting about it is, as we listen to all those reports, especially I think Doug's, what we heard is about volunteers. This church is so full of volunteers. And I think it's one of the things that Barb and I loved about being the moderator for the last 2 years, is because we got to see that each of you bring a very different group of skills, of loves, of commitment, of cares. And with that, you are out doing incredible things. Elaine is just putting together, taking us to the theater in Oakland, and we went to the theater in Berkeley. We have people that get our worship area ready every week. And I kind of took that for granted. I just figured it just happened. Well, somebody is out there picking up those things and putting them out and making sure the pencils are sharp enough. It's incredible. But when I look around this room, and Barb and I look around this room, we see so many people, each doing their own thing. And we talked about money and giving. We give money, we give time, we give love. And we take meals out for new mothers. We take meals out when people have an accident and can't cook. They're not feeling well. We show up for each other. We show up for our community. And what's that really mean? It means community. This is a family. This is a place where we come because we feel like we belong. So Barb and I went, wow, we'd really love to give something to everybody that volunteers. And then we went, oh my gosh, that'd be giving something to everybody. So I'm really sorry to say we're not going to give something to everybody. We're gonna give you a hug and our love and our thank you, because you're all just absolutely amazing. But we're going to call on the people who have been on the council, have come to council on committees, and we would like you to come forward and stand here as we call your name. You can start.
Okay. So we are going to be presenting each person with this lovely tote bag that says "Better Together." Yes, this is Kira's idea. She did a great job. And the first person, I don't think they're here, the Jangs, Randy Jang. The Jangs.
But now we know they
They're on
didn't
their
get it.
cruise. All right, next, Judy Haldy. And Weeks. Yeah, stay standing because we'll take a picture of everybody. Very good. Let's see. Who's next? Nicole Noga. Annie, I'm using this. Annie Atkins. Nancy Halson. And that's Janice. She's not here. Lauren Jewett. Pauline Riley. Diane Dorn. Brett Clark. New Grill. Joy Davis. Joyce Clausen. Heidi Bergman. Let's see. Steve Bridgman. Pastor Todd. Okay, very good.
Barb DeBarger. You guys are amazing, and it's been so wonderful to have a team. And one of my favorite things is teams, and team meaning we all have the same vision, a mission, and we're working together. Sometimes with conflict, sometimes with different opinions. And we ended up doing a lot this year. So thank you very, very much.
Barb and Kara, stay here for a second. Yes.
Before I sit down, I would like to just, make a pitch for somebody who's not a member, does tremendous amount of work behind the scenes, and that's Anne Marie.
Oh,
I've spent a lot of time working with her. She's just invaluable. And so I just say, if you're in the area during the week, drop by and just let her know she'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we have a tradition here that the office manager is not a member of the church, which, just kind of, I think that's just a practice. I can guarantee you, Anne Marie cares as much about this church and its efficiency than any member in this church. So thank you, Brett, for making us aware of that. And I just want to acknowledge before we move into the transition to who's leading us next year. There's a page in the annual report. Let's all look at it, because I think it's worth doing. It's on page 5. 70 years of leadership is listed on this page. 70 years of people who have given their time and their talents and their passion to this church. Some of those are still among us now, and some have gone on, as they say, to their reward. We would not be here were it not for these people who led the rest of the leadership of our church. The current list, as it stands, ends with Barb DeBarger, Gary Kennedy. Each one of these moderators has led with their own unique abilities. They bring all of who they are and what they care about and their love for the church and for God. And that's shown in unique and beautiful ways. And what we can say very passionately and with assuredness is you have brought all of yourself to this church for the last 2 years. You have led and innovated and inspired. And how many agendas did you do this year, Barb? Just, agendas. And you do love agendas.
did a lot, I can tell you.
A lot. Judy can affirm that there's a lot of agendas. How many meetings, Kara, have we conducted? A lot. A lot. And beyond the agendas and the meetings has been a whole lot of heart. And we are largely, thanks to you, where we are as a church because of your leadership that will be noted for posterity for the last 2 years. And so we are deeply grateful. And I would like us to rise in body, kind of spirit, and thank these 2 women for their leadership for the past 2 years. And all I have to do is go back.
Barb needs to go on a sabbatical.
Moderator sabbatical. You served 3 years. Okay. So this is the time that we're going to transition into who is serving in leadership in the year coming up. Those names have all been presented to us to approve. And so I just want to go through the folks and invite them to come forward. Pastor Lauren's going to join me up here as we provide a blessing in a moment. Our incoming moderators for 24, 25 are 25, 26. I said that in my head and then okay. 25, 26. Elaine Riley and Heidi Bridgman. Our vice moderator, Diane Bourne. Our financial secretary, Doug Leach. Our treasurer, Steve Bridgman. Our clerk, Eileen Ackley. Our outreach co-commissioner, the other co has been figured out, will be Chris Solomon. Media ministry, I know it has a better name than that, whatever that's called. Joyce Clausen, what is it? Welcome and Media, Joyce Clausen. Okay, the commissions that are gonna be team led, but if a representative of these commissions wants to come forward, we would love for you to. Worship commission is gonna be team led. Does somebody want to come up? Without the name? Wilson, are you still gonna come on up and rep the worship commission? Children's commission is gonna be team led. Trish, you wanna come up? Is Trish in the kitchen? Let's get her out of the kitchen. Not the kitchen. Youth ministry is gonna be team led. What am I missing? Stewardship. Is there a volunteer? Oh, yeah, Barb's coming back on the council. How about that? Let me make sure. Barb, who have I left out? Who is coming from buildings and grounds? Somebody represent buildings and grounds. Oh, Brett's gonna come up and rep buildings and grounds. The chair of the finance committee will be Kara Kennedy, right? Come on up. I'm gonna get everybody up here. Barb, just stay up there because you're also gonna chair the Day Spring Preschool Board Succeeding Child. I think that is, we want to acknowledge Carrie Bruces, who's coming on officially as Commissioner of Journeys in Faith. Carrie's not able to be here today. Okay, and these are friends. These are the people who have been called. You named volunteering. A lot of us volunteer in many places. And for you, that's probably a calling, but I want to name that you haven't just volunteered, you have been called. You've been called to ministry in a particular way in the life of this church. And I know that we will, when we are here at this again next year, we will be celebrating all of the good things for the expansion of God's realm of love in this church, in this community, in this world because of your leadership. So Pastor Lauren and I, and the tradition of DCC, want to pray over these folks. And I hope you feel yourself in this blessing as well, because every one of you out there, I can look and see, yeah, you're doing something, you're doing something, you're doing something. So you're covered. Please know you are covered by this blessing as well. Would you extend a hand of blessing toward these folks as we pray?
God, you call us to your service, call us to claim our ministry. You have given us Christ as servant, helping and guiding us to serve faithfully.
You call us to share the good news, to share love so joyfully and abundantly that all people may have blessings, living life fully and freely.
God, you ask us to take care of everything in your creation, care for the planet, birds and flowers, all your people and every land.
You call us to be teachers, just as Jesus was teacher, reaching out to young and old. Let us nurture truth and justice molded by the faith we hold.
Oh God, now we call upon your Spirit, the Holy Spirit, to come and claim your servants. Gifted and faithful, they have been called into ministry. As we extend our hands towards them, may they feel your presence that will guide and shepherd them as they lead in this next year as officers and commissioners.
Faithful God, over the next year, as we labor, as we worship, as we seek to live into the calls you have for our life together, may we do it in ways, each of us do it in ways that bring honor and glory and praise to you. In Jesus' name we pray, and all the people said, amen. Friends in ministry, go in peace. God as your guide, loving one another and embodying love to each other and that love to the world. Go in peace.
There's still time.
Rick, we probably need to on, but how do you think? Ready?
Heidi and Ali, don't go anywhere. I got it. Oh, okay. You know, one of the things that Barbara and I are really excited about,
Hang on.
maybe they can all hear me, is they get these beautiful, beautiful necklaces that we wear everywhere we go. I am so disappointed that I'm not going to have this round, and so it is with heartfelt joy that I give this to Olivia. And I. Yay!
I also am going to give the keys to the city. This is the master key for the church. Heidi. Oops, she just grabbed it.
I know. I have one too. I guess I'll hand mine to Elaine.
And I will
hand mine to Doug.
All right.
you official.
Very good. All right. So thank you very much, ladies, and congratulations to all of the incoming people. So we are at the end of our agenda, our last meeting as moderators, co-moderators. And so I have a little parting message that I'd like to read. All right, so my dear friends, we have had a fantastic year filled with both challenges and joy. It has been my greatest pleasure in serving as one of your moderators these past 2 years, and I am so grateful to leave this position having had the experiences that I have with all of you. Jesus has been quoted to say that wherever there are 2 or more gathered in my name, I will be there. And that can only be the truth, because given what I've seen in this church, there have been so many divine moments and positive changes that have brought each of us closer to you and closer to God. We have seen our church flourish and thrive under the leadership of our new old Pastor Todd. He has transformed the office of senior minister into one that prioritizes our community bonds, outreach to the marginalized, and opportunities for growth for each one of us. We've had the most dedicated church council who have wrestled with budget documents, budget demands, budget cuts, updated bylaws, as well as celebrating our community through approvals for activities and events that show more of who we are as a church to our wider community. And for all of us as a church, we are truly better together when we gather in the round in our sanctuary, sing songs of praise, listen to divine words being spoken, and learn from deep in our hearts what it means to be walking in Jesus's footsteps. 16 years ago, our family came to DCC, and it has become a second home to me. Judy often laughs at all of the things I get myself involved in at church, but she and I both know that it's because love has brought us here. And love is what will propel us into the future. If we listen to each other, listen to the community we serve, and listen to the words of Jesus, we can truly become what we hope for. So thank you, DCC, for these opportunities for myself and for all of us. I can't wait to see what happens next. And then finally, I would like to thank my partner in crime, Kira, who has truly been a helpmate to me throughout these past 2 years. I have cried, I have laughed, I have sworn, lots of swear words. And through it all, you have been so steadfast and loyal and a good ear and a good sounding board for me. So I just want to thank you, and I can't wait to work with you and whatever happens next.
Wow. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, and I had to completely change my sermon. So this is a little different than what I had thought I was going to say. And it's more on a personal note for me. I retired I sold my business and retired in 2022. And I was a little lost. I wasn't sure what to do with my time, my energy, my skills. And a lot of people say, oh, you're retired. And it just didn't feel that way to me. So I turned to DCC because it was familiar and because we all know DCC loves a volunteer. So DCC had helped shape my leadership skills over the years. I had actually been a moderator before. And in being that moderator, I realized that what I really loved was leading people. Not leading people that worked for me necessarily, but leading people who all cared about something. And that together we were going to pull together and accomplish something into the future. And the leadership that I had done here had really taught me to be a better leader with the people that worked for me. So coming back seemed like a natural thing to do. So I started looking around going, wonder what I could do. And I ran into somebody, Barb. And she was, of course, looking for something more that she could do because she wanted to take on bigger and more wonderful things. And so together, we both decided, oh my goodness, maybe we'll be the moderators. So many of you thank me all the time, and I'm sure thank Barb too. You come up and say, oh my gosh, you guys give so much time and energy to this. You must be exhausted. And last night when I woke up, what I really realized is I love it here. And I'm not exhausted because I see how much we all care. And I hope he doesn't mind, but I remember quite a while ago, I was talking to Brett, and I'm always walking up to Brett going, oh my gosh, you get so much time. And if you don't know, Brett and Tom and the group keep this building looking really good all the time. And Brett said to me, you know, I'm lucky. I am so lucky that I have DCC where I can put my love and my time. And it just made me stop to go, you mean you enjoy that? Yeah. I'm not going to say that there aren't moments when I'll take it personally, that I'm not that excited for another meeting or another agenda or another really hard conversation. But then when I look at the really big picture, sometimes the things that we don't like come because we care about something. We care about something bigger than that task. And so I'm sure everybody in this room has volunteered to do something, they didn't want to do the task, but they really care about where they were going. So now I've lost my place in what I was talking about, but what really stands out to me is how blessed I am to be a part of a sacred community. Oh, I remember. I wanted to say that you're gonna get out of here soon, I promise. I wanted to say that I wasn't church. So when I came to this church 30 years ago, it was really about bringing my children to somewhere that they would learn values and worth and love somewhere else. But really, I'm the one who has really learned about what being in a community is all about, and a sacred community. And it's really about having each other's backs. It's about being there together. And it's about volunteering yourself because you care. And I look at this room, and you're my community, and you're my family, and you have given me much, much more than I have given to DCC. So I think now, in this disrupted way, I will thank Barb. I say that Barb is the workhorse of this group. She is the agenda person. She is the one who sees what needs to be done. She is the one who usually is up here performing the meetings. And it is incredible how talented, skilled she is. She's a good coordinator, strategic planner. She's got it all. And it has been an absolute delight to actually get to know you better, to walk with you, to dance with you. And like Barb said, I'm sure we will see each other again on a volunteers extraordinary. So thank you very much for an incredible 2 years. And Aline, would you like to close us?
Thank you so much, Karen and Martha. Would you join me in the closing prayer? Holy God, you are Yahweh. You are as close to us as our own breath. You are also that mighty wind. We praise you. We thank you for the fact that you have been with us this entire morning through worship, through eating together, through business and social and meetings. We thank you for every person in this church community, whether they're here today or we will see them next week, for the way that they do show up in so many ways because they care. And we ask that you send us out now to do your work in the world, to be your love in the world. We praise you. We love you. Thank you, God. Amen.
Hi, Chris, this is Doug. If you're still there, the meeting has been adjourned. You can continue to watch as people clear up if you like. But that's it for the meeting.